everyone, welcome to From Zero to Hero Maths Hub. We are here to ensure that your weaknesses are turned into strength with regards to mathematics. My name is Paida. Today I'm going to take you through the topic of algebra, and in algebra we are looking at the concept of inequalities. So the first thing that you need to understand is the inequality signs that are involved in mathematics. The first inequality sign that we have here is we are saying that A is less than B. How do you tell that this one is less than the other one? So, as you can notice, the inequality sign is represented like this. So, where it has opened its mouth is the thing which is greater than the other. So, in this case, we are saying A is less than B, or we are saying B is greater than A. At the same time, when we have this one, the second inequality sign, remember I've mentioned that where it has opened its mouth, that one is the one which is bigger than the other. So, in this case, we are saying A is greater than B. Or if we are reading from this end, we are saying B is smaller than A. At the same time, we also have inequality signs where there is this line underneath. This line represents O equal to. So, in this case, we are saying A is less than or equal to B. At the same time, we also have this one where we are saying A is greater than or equal to B. Maybe the question that you would ask, where do this inequality work in our real life? Assuming I have these two boxes, I have this box and this other box. Which one is bigger than the other? We are saying this box is bigger than this one. So, this box is greater than this one. At the same time, sometimes you can have a bunch of keys. These simple keys that we have in our houses. So we are saying this bunch of key has more keys than this one. So we are saying this one is greater than this one. Interesting, isn't it? So yes, inequalities can be applied in real life issues where we need to identify which one is greater and which one is less than. So when we are handling inequalities, for today, our concept that we want to look at is solve simple linear inequalities. Solve simple linear inequalities. So when we're looking at solving simple linear inequalities, whenever we are faced with a question where there is addition or subtraction and we need to move either variables or numbers. So the bottom line is talking about us solving. For us to understand this topic better, it means we've already covered the concept of equation, because that is our first port of call. So when we are moving in equations, if something skips the equal sign, it means it changes its sign also. It's the same concept which is also applied when we are dealing with inequalities. So when we move a positive or a negative number, our inequality sign doesn't change. At the same time, when we divide or multiply with a positive number, our inequality sign also doesn't change. But when we divide or multiply using a negative number, it means that our inequality sign changes direction. So, if we had this inequality sign, we are saying we have A less than 3B. In this case, our inequality sign doesn't change. But if we are saying we have A less than negative 3B and we want to divide by negative 3, it means our inequality sign has to change. So we get A is less than divided by our negative 3, and this side we have B. So our inequality sign changes direction whenever we divide or multiply using a negative number. You are going to see as we are going to work on the examples that I have for you today. So I'm going to erase the board and then we'll look at the following examples that we have for these simple linear inequalities. Remember, this is From Zero to Hero Maths Hub, and I am your host, Paida. So the first question that we want to look at, we want to solve the following. So whenever we say we are solving, we need to get to a point where we find the solution to a variable. Our first question will be, for A, we want to solve 2x minus 6 is less than 10. This is our question. So as I've already stated that when we are looking at this, we are looking at linear inequalities, and our inequality sign is this one. So we are saying 2x minus 6 is less than 10 when we are reading it in mathematics. So with this question, we want to find x. So we move everything which is in this side to the other side. This is what I mean. We are saying 2x, for us to remove minus 6, we are saying 2x minus 6 plus 6. So what we do to the left side, we also do it to the right side. So we put our inequality sign, then we have 10. Since this side we have added a 6, it means on the other side also we need to add a 6. So what do we get? We are going to get 2x plus 0. So we don't need to write the 0. So we have 2x is less than 10 plus 6 will give us a 16. So remember, we are solving this inequality to find the variable, our variable, which is x. So from this point, we now divide both sides by 2. What we do to the left, we also do to the right. So if we divide 2 into 2, we get 1. So 1 multiplied by x, we are going to get x is, our x is less than, here if we divide, we are saying 2 into 16, we get 8. We have solved this inequality. That's our first question. Now moving on to the second question. I hope we are getting it. Moving on to our second question. Remember, we are still solving, but this time we are going to solve for y. In case you were thinking that the only variable that we have is x, we can use or have a lot of variables. The question that I have for you now is 3 plus 5y. So I have 3 plus 5y, and my inequality sign is this one. Try and read this in mathematics. I'm giving you 2 seconds to read this. I hope you're going to get the correct thing. So we are saying 3 plus 5y is greater or equal to 4. Remember, I said where it is like this, that's the side which is greater than the other. So we have this, but in this case, our variable is y. We want to solve for y. So we need to make sure that we get a 0 here. This is a positive 3. So for us to get a 0, we need to subtract 3 both sides. So it means we have 3 minus 3 plus 5y. But what we have done to the left side is the same thing that we're supposed to do to the right side. Our inequality sign, remember I said when we are adding or subtracting, our inequality sign doesn't change direction. So we have 3 minus 3 plus 5y is greater than or equal to 4. But on this side, we subtracted 3. It means I'm also going to subtract 3 from the other side. What we do to the left side, we also do it to the right side with regards to inequalities. So on this side, we're going to say 3 minus 3, we get a 0. We are left with plus 5y. So we have our 5y is greater than or equal to. If we were to subtract 4 minus 3, we are going to get 1. But remember, we are solving. So what we are solving for y. So for us to remain with y here, we have to divide with 5. So if we divide with 5 this side, it means we also have to divide with 5 the other side. So we are also dividing by 5. So this 5 into 5 will give us 1. This 5 into 5 will give us another 1. So our solution will be y is greater than or equal to 1 over 5. And yes, you are wondering, it's possible for us to get solutions in fraction form. I'm going to do another one, which is simple. But before I rub, I don't think we have any question. Remember, this is from 0 to hero. Already you know what is supposed to happen to these simple questions. So now we are moving on to the third question, which is our part C. It's still a simple linear inequality. But in this case, I have minus 6x is less than 12. This is the question that I have. And apparently, For me to find the solution for my variable, which is x, I have to divide with a negative on both sides. I have to divide with a negative both sides. So it means if I'm dividing with a negative both sides, my inequality sign changes direction. This is what I mean. So I have negative 6x, and I'm going to divide by negative 6. So if I'm dividing by negative 6, my inequality sign was facing this direction. So now my inequality sign changes direction and faces the other direction because I'm dividing with a negative. So I have my 12 here divided by my negative 6. So if a negative divides a negative, it becomes positive. And 6, if a 6 divided by 6, we get what? 1. So our solution here is that we are going to get x. And our x is now greater than, if we divide this side, negative 6 divided by 12, we are going to get negative 2. Simple, isn't it? Okay, probably we should proceed to our last example. We should proceed to our last example for the day. And for our last example, it's still a simple linear inequality. And the simple linear inequality that I have is D, where we are saying 5 minus 2x is less than 9. Where the inequality sign opens, that part is the greater part. So in this case, 9 is greater than everything on this side. So we are solving for our variable x. So we need to move our 5 to this side. For us to move our 5, it means we are going to subtract 5 from this side. So we are saying 5 minus 5 minus 2x is less than 9. But what we do to the right side is the same thing that we do to the left side. So in this case, we have subtracted 5. It means we have to subtract 5 on the other side. So what are we going to get? Here we are going to say 5 minus 5 and we get a 0. So in this case, we are going to get negative 2x is less than 9 minus 5 will give us a 4. Now, we have a negative. Remember what I've mentioned concerning negatives. If we divide with a negative, what happens? I know most of you are going to work it like this. I'm going to introduce a red pen to see some of the errors that are made by learners. So, they would say negative 2x is less than 4 and divide by negative 2 on both sides. What are they going to get? They are going to get x is less than 2, which is wrong. Some also make this error of saying they will put 2x, negative 2x is less than 4, and then divide both sides by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. Then they would say our x is equal to negative 2. But remember, we are dealing with inequalities. So, we are not using this inequality sign. Here, the error which was made is we divide by a negative, but the negative was only divided on one side. The other side was not divided by a negative, but was just divided by 2. And the inequality sign did not change. So, these are errors that some of us would make. So, I'm going to do the correct thing on this question. So, the correct thing that should be done on this question, I'm going back to my red ink, my black ink. The correct thing that is supposed to happen is we have negative 2x, we divide by negative 2x, our inequality sign changes direction. So it's now facing the other side. And here we have our 4, which is being divided by a negative 2. What we do to the left is the same thing that we should do to the right. So our solution would be an x is greater than negative 2. This would be our correct solution. So now I'm going to give you homework to see if you have made progress on what we're discussing today. For homework, I'm just going to give you 3 questions. homework. Number 1. Our first question will be negative 2x is greater than 9, which is also negative. Let me get my eraser. Which is also negative. I want to see what will happen to that question. Then, number 2. For our number 2, we want to look at this question where we have x divided by 2 is greater than or equal to negative 4. I want to see also how you handle that question. Then remember, I've mentioned that I'm only giving you 3 questions. So our last question, which we are going to start from in our next lesson, will be x divided by negative 4 is less than or equal to 1. This will be our question. Thank you so much for joining us today on this program from Zero to Hero Maths Hub. Please like and follow our channel Tembani for more maths lessons with regards to making you realize that maths is very simple and we are able to turn your weaknesses into strength. From Zero to Hero Maths Hub. I'm your host, Paida. Have a good day.